All right, and next up, our final interview of the evening, we're going to welcome in the men's and women's swimming and diving coach, Laura Demaline. Coach, first and foremost, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure. Throughout your career here at Baldwin-Wallace, you've coached almost 36 Ohio Athletic Conference champions, 5 OAC Divers of the Year, 78 All-OAC performers, a bunch of All-OAC relay teams, and a handful of national qualifiers and All-Americans. Just an outstanding career that you've been able to build for yourself here. What's been the secret to the success over your tenure here?
Well, I think that the first thing would be our outstanding staff. I say all the time, the best assistant coaches in the OAC, and so coaches sort of set the personality of the team and the culture of the program, and so our staff has been able to attract some, just tremendous individuals who really are willing to put the work in and see the potential in our program and, want to help elevate it. So we ask each freshman as they come in that in 4 years we hope you leave the program better than you found it. So great staff, incredible team culture, and hard work.
How long did it take to really start developing that culture?
Oh, goodness. I would say definitely the first 4 to 5 years, we were looking for those recruits who wanted to come in. There was a strong program prior to me coming in 2011, and it was finding swimmers who could see the potential, and sometimes that takes a few years, but we really lucked out with as you mentioned, we've had a few All-Americans. We lucked out with some people that wanted to come and make a difference at BW, and as they came in, then we were able to start building a little bit at a time, and it sort of has resulted in what we have today, which we're really proud of and so excited about. Yeah,
part of being a college coach is you develop the program, but you always have to keep an eye on what's ahead in terms of that recruiting aspect. How have you been able to bring the athletes that you have over the last 12 years into the program?
Sure, that's a great question. One, I think it's building relationships with coaches in the area. So being able to show them that we're going to care for their swimmers and divers when they send them to us. We're going to help them be the best athletes they can be. And, honestly, per the Division III model, they're going to graduate, and go on to make this world a better place. So, establishing those relationships with coaches, and then I truly think our team sells Baldwin-Wallace and our team sells the program. We believe in a team-first mentality, and so we ask the team to make sure that the recruits we're bringing on campus can tell what our team is about, and make sure that type of culture is something they want to be a part of, because we do expect the team to help protect that culture just as much as we do the coaches.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you mentioned being that true student athlete that goes on to be productive long after they decide to hang up the swim trunks for the final time. You serve as an assistant coordinator for student athlete services and a co-moderator for the student athlete advisory committee. Why do you take those roles on, and how important are they to the development of the total student, not just the athlete?
So the student athlete advisory committee is something I've been interested in since I started coaching at Canisius College. It used to be, oh goodness, what did they call it? I'll think of it at some point. But there used to be life skills.
Life skills, okay.
And so it was an NCAA initiative back in the early 2000s to help better prepare NCAA athletes for the world, and make sure that the education they were receiving were classes they should be taking. And it sort of started in Division I and then made its way into Division II and III. When I got to Baldwin-Wallace, it was Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and I thought every NCAA institution that has varsity athletics has to have a SAC. And so when I was offered the opportunity to work with SAC, I thought, well, this is a way way that I can get to know athletes that aren't just on my team. So to be able to work with now 24 different sports and get to know their programs, their coaches, their athletes, I think it's helped make me a better coach. So selfishly, I keep doing it because I do think it's helping me. But it feels like it's a way we can impact the Baldwin-Wallace community too. So I get to work with some of our best athletes on campus, which is really awesome.
You've worked at multiple levels of NCAA programs with D1, D3. What is it about Division III that makes it special and makes you stay at this level when maybe you could, take care of yourself and advance to a higher level?
Sure. So two answers for that, and I'll try to be brief.
No. You don't need to be. Good stories are good stories.
Well, thank you. So my dad actually graduated from Baldwin-Wallace in 1975. He swam for a couple of years here. And so I had grown up hearing about Baldwin-Wallace, and some stories I would not share on this podcast. But some of his very best friends were here with him at Baldwin-Wallace. And so I just grew up. I live on the west side in Avon Lake, and so when I was little, Berea seemed hours away. But hearing about this place that, where he had met his very best friends and had this great education and this great experience. So, when my swimming career ended and I got into coaching, I didn't necessarily, say, well, someday I want to go back to Baldwin-Wallace and coach where my dad swam. But when I had my daughter Adela and, the opportunity to be back by family became available, my husband's family is from here, it was one of those things where I thought, well, how neat to coach where my dad swam,
right,
where my dad went, and where all of these amazing stories, where they came from. So I think that's part of what drew me. The other piece was just the people. I walked around campus when I had my interview, and everybody, I could tell that BW was important to them. I also could tell that everybody wanted to build something here, and that was, I saw the opportunity to build something. So that attracted me to the job. My first day on campus was our first day of practice that year. Not how I would have preferred to start, but you just, feet to the fire right away. But I remember sitting in the pool watching the swimmers warm up, and I thought to myself, because I had coached scholarship athletes prior to it, that, wow, this is the first time in my career that I know what is motivating each person to be here, and that's to be the best swimmer they can be. And I think that's helped me stay in Division III as well. I love the opportunity to develop the whole person. Every single one of our swimmers and divers are just incredible individuals, so I love getting to coach them. They work so hard, and they're good pretty fast.
Yeah.
And our divers are really, really good. But to see them be able to develop as individuals and to be a part of that aspect of their college career too is really special. So Division III has just been a great fit for me.
How long did you know you wanted to be a coach? Did you know when you were an athlete that you were going to take that next step and stay in the sport but in a different capacity?
So truthfully, I started coaching when I was 14 for a summer league swim team, and I did that all through college, and I just absolutely loved it. It wasn't until I came home after I graduated that one of my club coaches was like, have you considered coaching? And I said, well, nobody's ever really talked to me about that. Can that be your job? And he goes, it's my job.
It's mine, yeah.
I said, yeah, well, that's true. So that was really the first time I had been accepted to law school and was weighing that next step in my academic career. And probably an acceptance that should have made me really, really excited, kind of made me sit back and think a little bit. And my parents actually said, hey, what's going on? And I said, I think that I would miss swimming. And it's just been such a big part of my life, and I want it to continue to be a part of my life. So sort of took a little bit of a right turn, and 20 years later,
Yeah.
And I think I would have not been a very energetic lawyer. So I think this is a better fit.
Yeah, you're comfortable with the decision, no looking back?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're getting ready to start the season in a couple of weeks. You have the inter-squad meet, I believe, coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
So what are you expecting out of that, and how has the preseason gone for the swimming and diving team?
Yeah, so we actually started our third week of practice today, and they're just looking great. We've sort of added a few challenge sets in where, it's supposed to be a challenge, and some of them you are pushing to failure to know what that feels like. But they've really been rising to the occasion, which has been really exciting for our staff to see. The brown and gold beam, we love to be competitive.
Yeah.
So we have our inter-squad teams that the freshmen are drafted to their first year, and you stay on your brown or gold team your whole 4 years. And one of my favorite things when we posted the draft on Friday was alums chiming in, brown team for life, gold team rules, brown team rules. And that's like the fun part about it, is that you realize it's something that was impactful.
It's amazing what people remember about their time,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah. But it's a way for us to get up on the blocks and race. It's a way for the freshmen to get first races out, and kind of
jitters.
settle into. And last year the meet came down to 7 points, to where we did like a rescore just to be sure. So the teams are extremely even. Our assistant coaches are the coaches, and they make little gentleman bets between themselves, all following NCAA rules.
We have to clarify that for
it's
sure.
All completely above board. But it's one of those things where, again, the energy from the coaching staff definitely filters to the team, and it's just a great way to kick off the year. So what we're looking for from them is to get up and race, and it's a way for us to see where everyone is before our first school meet, which is at Wilmington on October 15th. So we have about 2 weeks till that.
On the men's team last year, you had just one senior, which meant a lot of younger swimmers were able to gain some really valuable experience. How have those underclassmen grown into their roles now as potential team leaders?
Yeah, that was one of the best parts of our preseason goal meetings, were all the many sophomores that came forward and said, "Coach, we want to win a championship. So what do you need from us? How do we take that step and make that happen?" So to hear that from 19 and 20-year-olds is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some great leadership in our junior and senior class, and so they definitely have good role models to follow. But I really think that they were freshmen last year, the now sophomores, the impact that they made on this program, it's kind of, well, we're here now, we're not going backwards, so how do we take those next steps? How do we make an impact not only at the conference level, but at the NCAA level as well?
Yeah, on the women's side, you had a few more experienced swimmers in the program. You had a handful of seniors last year. But again, you still have to develop those leaders of the future. And how have the women that have been given their opportunity to show what they're about, how have they excelled in their roles?
Yeah, so the numbers on the women's team were a little bit more even. There wasn't that huge class of 20 guys last year. 18, I misspoke, I'm sorry. A lot.
Close enough.
Yeah.
It counts. That's a lot of new bodies in the pool.
So the women's team is a little bit more evened out with that, but their goals are the same. And so I think it's where, we practice as a team, we travel, we compete as a team. But at OAC, as it is the women's team championship and the men's team championship. So the women are returning more conference champions on the women's side, and they've set the bar very high for their teammates. So the best part is seeing them cheering each other on and trying to help the entire team move forward, knowing that person you're cheering for is also the person you're racing against. So it's a great, healthy competitiveness within that women's program, and I think they're going to do some very, very good things this year.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for the time. It was an absolute pleasure talking with you. I wish you the best of luck, starting with this weekend's scrimmage, or brown and gold scrimmage, if you will. And then once you get into the meat of your regular season schedule, which gets underway on the 15th at Wilmington. So best of luck, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. That's Coach Laura Demaline of the swimming and diving teams here at Baldwin-Wallace. Before we get on out of here, want to take a look at the week ahead. First of all, the football team is